And then they would wait, and customers would come, and he had a very successful business. So, and his boy helped him. So one morning they went to work. This was like Monday after the sermon, or the pravachan, and the boy it was still in his mind what the pundit had said. So he set up everything. Lo and behold, an old cow came, and she had big, beautiful eyes and droopy ears, and she had a little bit of saliva coming out of her mouth, and she was hungry. And the boy could see it. Now his father had always had given him a stick in case anybody comes by, just, or animals, he's supposed to beat them and get them away, But the boy felt sorry this morning because he had heard the lecture. So he didn't say anything. The cow started eating from one of the baskets of the grain. And after about 5 minutes, the father was always looking, he was very careful, make sure everything is right. And he sees the cow eating the grain, and he runs out and said, what the heck's going on here? He said, why are you letting the cow eat the grain? He said, Pitaji, he said, you were there with me yesterday. The pundit said we should treat the cow as our mother. And if you see a hungry cow, you shouldn't chase her away. You should let her eat. She's like our mother. He said, no, you don't understand anything. He said, what do you mean? He said, listen, I've been going to that temple for the last 40 years. And I've listened to every lecture carefully. But I just let it go in one ear and come out the other. He said, you don't take it seriously. If you take it seriously, we'll go bankrupt. What are you talking about? Now you better beat that cow right now. He said, no, Pitaji. I go, what? Then I will beat you. Okay, Pitaji, I'm sorry. Mataji, please don't eat anymore. He said, no, that's not the way. You take the stick and you hit the cow. He said, Pitaji, he said, this is not right. So what do you mean it's not? Are you my son or not? He said, yeah, I'm your son. I listen to everything you say. Okay, then. So he grabs the cow by the neck, and says, Mata, please come with me. I'll give you some more grain on the back of the stump, So we don't want to be like the father. 40 years he's come to the temple every week. 40 years he's listened carefully, and it's let it go in one ear and come out the other. We want to be like the boy. Actually take these words of Krishna very seriously. Otherwise, what's going to happen to us? We're going to beat our own mother. We're going to be cruel. No softening of the heart. The heart just gets harder and harder when you're just thinking about making money. So today's verse is very important in that sense. Yasya sarve samaramba kama sankalpa varjita Janagni dagda karmanam tamahu pandita buddha. Very nice verse. It says, one is understood to be in full knowledge whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Reactions of work, meaning our karma, our previous karma, and there's some good reactions and bad reactions, all burned up by the fire of transcendental knowledge. And what is that fire of transcendental knowledge? Well, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, only a person in full knowledge can understand the activities of a person in Krishna consciousness. Because the person in Krishna consciousness is devoid of all kinds of sense gratificatory propensities. It is to be understood that he has burned up the reactions of his work by perfect knowledge of his constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He or she is actually learned who has attained to such perfection of knowledge. Development of this knowledge of eternal servitorship to the Lord is compared to fire. Such a fire, once kindled, can burn up all kinds of reactions to work. Well, this is the whole point, that as soon as we're born, and we're existing before we're born in this body, but as soon as we're born with a, as they say in the police station, a rap sheet. And it's not rap music, believe me. A rap sheet means everything you've done, good or bad, is accounted for. And there's pluses and minuses. And we're going to get reactions for all these things. Sometimes good reactions, like you might buy a lottery ticket for $2, and all of a sudden you win $560 million, right? That means you did something really good in your previous lives to be able to get lucky like that. Or you might be walking down the street and some 80-year-old man has a cataract. He's driving a car 60 miles an hour and a 25-mile-an-hour thing. He goes over the sidewalk and hits you. And you end up all broken up in the hospital. And you didn't expect that, right? You're lucky you're still alive. But rest of your life, your arm is like this, your hand is like that, your back is like this, you know. You don't know. These are all karmic reactions. We don't know what it is until we actually get it. You can go to some pundit and say, Panditji, tell me what's going to happen in the future. He said, oh, all they can say is, oh, you're going on a long trip. You're going to meet somebody. And you're going to like them very much. And there's going to be some profitable business transaction. That's all he can say. They never say anything more than that. You're going on a long trip. You're going to meet somebody. You're going to have this. You're going to do that. One time some man asked Srila Prabhupada, he said, Panditji, you are Bada Guru. You're a big guru. All the big gurus, they do the palmistry. Please look at my hand. Tell me what's going to happen in the future. Prabhupada said, no, I don't do this. He said, no, you're Bada Guru, Bada Guru. He said, stop this Bada Guru nonsense. No, but you can read, please tell me. He said, okay, since you're insisting. So Prabhupada looked at his hand, he went like this. He said, very bad. The man said, what? So what is it? Tell me, please tell me. He said, all I see is birth, old age, and disease, and death. Now that's the truth. That is the truth. That's the gospel truth. There's not, what, you're going to meet somebody? You're going on a long trip? It's all nonsense. That's all there is here is birth, old age, disease, and death. That's pure for everybody, right? So in between those four things, there's some good things and there's some bad things. Sometimes 90% bad, 10% good. Sometimes 10% bad, 90% good. We don't know. We don't know till it happens. So why take that chance? Here it's explaining that you can burn away Jnana Agni Sarva Dugdha Karmanam. You can burn up all the reactions to sinful activities with the fire of transcendental knowledge. Just like fire purifies things. Let's say you have a rock that has iron ore in it. It has some gold in it. But it's mixed with some lead, it's mixed with copper, it's mixed with other things. So you take that rock and you put it in the fire and you make the fire stronger and stronger until everything melts and the iron precipitates out and the lead precipitates out and the copper precipitates out and you're left with pure gold. The fire purified that rock, separated it into its pure constituents. So in the same way, the fire of transcendental knowledge will purify all the nonsense that we've learned. And what is nonsense? Nonsense is the goal of life is sense gratification, pleasing our own senses. And the way to do that, you need money. And you need victims. You have to victimize somebody else in order to get the pleasure that you want, right? So you need sense gratification is the goal, money is the means, and victimizing others is the way. What kind of life is that? That's why so many people end up unhappy. They say, I wanted to be the victimizer, but then I ended up being the victim. Right? That's right. Just like you go to a casino and you get the dice. Hare Krishna. right? 7-Eleven, but it comes out 6, you lose. So then you see the guy in the casino who works for the casino, the croupier, that's what they call them. They use a French name, the croupier. He croups up your money like this and takes it toward him, and it goes away from you. So all of a sudden you realize, what a foolish thing I did. It took me 1 month to make that money, and with one throw of the dice, even though I said Hare Krishna, it all went away. See? So that's how stupid people are. They work hard and they throw it away in the casino. That's why, have you seen any casinos go bankrupt? Huh? No, they're building bigger casinos. $2 million. $2 billion, $5 billion. Right? How can they build such big buildings? Right? We can hardly build a little temple, right? They're building huge, huge casinos because there's so many stupid people. They're going to throw their money away. You may as well open the window and just throw it outside. At least somebody will benefit from it, right? Some poor people will get the money, but you go to a casino, you just make the greedy people more rich. See? So this verse is saying that this is a symptom of someone who actually has knowledge. One is said to be in knowledge whose every endeavor is devoid of the desire for sense gratification. So what are we doing here in the temple? Are we doing the same thing, working for sense gratification? Yes, but we're working for Krishna's senses, not our own. We're using our senses to please Krishna. And Krishna is not victimizing us. He's saying, oh, you're doing very nice. Here, take more prasad. Take more prasad. Have some more prasad. Don't care about getting fat or high blood pressure or cardiac disease. That's all right. Take more prasad. Anyway, I'll protect you. You don't have to worry. So if you eat only prasad, you don't have to worry. You get purified. And we live by the prasad of the Lord. We live and we depend on the goodwill of the Lord and His prasad. See? He takes care of us. You see any devotees starving? Are there any starving Indians here? No. It used to be in America in the 1950s, 1960s, whenever the word India would come out, say, oh, the starving people in India, right? Because there's Bangladesh war, and there was this war, that war, and all the refugees were coming, they're starving in the streets, and Mother Teresa is picking them up off the street. They have tuberculosis, nobody cares for them, they have leprosy. So that was the image of India. It's a poor country. Of course, now it's different. I was talking to one person today. I said, where you come from? She said, Bangalore. I said, Bangalore? I said, Bangalore is a concrete jungle. I said, I went there in 1970. It was a nice place. I said, I went back last year. It looked like a concrete jungle. It's like Singapore. It's one big shopping center now, the whole city. So what has happened? Well, everyone's become rich now. And with the riches comes, as it says in Bhagavad Gita, let's take a look, the 16th chapter. With the riches comes all these good things. It says, Ishwaroham harambogi sidoham balavan sukhi. I am Ishwara. I'm the controller. Aham bogi. I'm the enjoyer. Sidoham. I'm perfect. And Balavan. I'm very powerful. And Aham sukhi. I'm very happy by victimizing others, taking their money, cheating them, whatever. Property deals, business deals, doesn't matter. I'll cheat, I'll lie, I'll do anything to make money. Therefore, the lawyers are doing very well in India. Yeah, everyone has a case going, But that's not life. That is misery. There's no peace of mind like that. Therefore, Krishna is instructing here how you can actually become peaceful and happy. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Now, how does that happen exactly? Krishna says, Tyaktva karma phala sangam nitya tripto nirasraya karmani apipavrito api naiva kinchit karoti sa. So this is the next verse, number 20. Yeah. It says, abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities ever satisfied and independent. He performs no fruitive actions, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. So, Prabhupada explains, this freedom from the bondage of actions is possible only in Krishna consciousness, when one is doing everything for Krishna. A Krishna conscious person acts out of pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he has no attraction for the results of the action. He is not even attached to his personal maintenance, for everything is left to Krishna. Nor is he anxious to secure things, nor to protect things already in his possession. He does his duty to the best of his ability and leaves everything to Krishna. Such an unattached person is always free from the resultant reactions of good and bad. It is as though he were not doing anything. This is the sign of akarma, or actions without fruitive reactions. Any other action, therefore, devoid of Krishna consciousness is binding upon the worker, and that is the real aspect of vikarma, as explained hereinbefore. So, we have three types of action, three types of karma. You have karma, vikarma, and akarma. So karma means acting according to the Vedic instructions, but you're waiting for a positive result. So it is not pure devotion. It's conditional devotion. In other words, I scratchy you backy, and you scratchy my backy. See, that's called conditional. However, vikarma means acting against the Vedic instructions. So that's sinful, right? Just like Ravana was sinful, Hiranyakashipu was sinful, Kamsa was sinful, Duryodhan was sinful. They were vikarmis. But they're not 100% sinful. It was mishra, it was mixed. They would do some good things, and they would do some really bad things, right? But when they really do something egregious, like kidnap Ram's wife, Sita Devi, or refuse to give the Pandavas their rightful inheritance, or try and kill their own son, like Hiranyakashipu, then Krishna steps in. Right? Otherwise, Krishna can kill all these people anyway with the laws of karma. A little valve doesn't work in the heart, all of a sudden they're taken to a hospital with a heart attack. Or some little blockage in the brain, they have a stroke and they die. So Krishna doesn't have to come personally to kill the demons. Just like there was a big demon in Andhra Pradesh. He was a son of a Brahmin, a Sri Vaishnava, who turned into a Christian. But actually, in India, Christian means a demon. I mean, I'm a Christian. I've met Indian Christians. I never met people so mean and nasty in my whole life. Because someone who's a new convert is always more loyal than the king. You see, they want to prove that they're a real Christian, so they hate Hinduism. We invited some of those people here. We had a festival called Children of Faith, and we told everyone, you bring your kids, and they can express their faith in a cultural way, you know, through song, through dance, or whatever. And we as parents, we're just going to watch them, and we'll be very happy to see our children exchanging their faith, you know. So we had Christian groups, we had Muslim groups, we had all these different Buddhist groups, you know. They brought their kids and they performed. And even amongst us, we had the Sai Baba children, we had Hare Krishna kids, and we had other kids. And it was very nice. But the Indian Christian group couldn't control their minds, couldn't control themselves. So the parent of the kids that was performing, he got up to make a speech. And he said, all of you are going to hell. You are worshiping idols. You must surrender to Jesus. You know, right in the temple, right? And when I came a little late, and they told me that this happened. So I called the man over. I said, what are you doing? He said, what do you mean, what I'm doing? I said, are you a Christian? He said, yes, I am. I said, you're not a Christian. So what do you mean? I said, I'm a Christian. I'm baptized Christian. And the church I belong to is an ancient apostolic church. You're just a new convert. And my people have been Christian for 2,000 years. What do you know about Christianity? Jesus said, if someone strikes you on the right cheek, on the left cheek, you turn the right cheek so they can strike you on the right cheek also. I said, he said you should forgive your enemies. And I said, Jesus was always very humble and meek. I said, what are you doing? We asked you to bring your kids here and let them perform and express their faith in Jesus. Why did you get up there and start haranguing everybody? How would you feel if I came to your church and you invited me on the pulpit and I got up on the pulpit and I said, all you Hindus that have converted to Christianity, you're all going to Narak. I said, would you ever invite me back? He said, no. I said, why should I invite you back then? I said, don't you feel ashamed of yourself? We wanted your kids to come here and we wanted them to express their love for Jesus. And you get up there and talk like a nonsense? I said, you're not a Christian, you're a phony. You are an embarrassment to your religion. The man said, well, I said, yeah, just say, That's it. Don't say anything else. Anything that comes out of your mouth is nonsense. You go back and read your Bible. You read about Jesus. You find out what it's like to be meek and humble and a gentleman. I said, but I'm different than you. See, I'm a real Christian. I believe in forgiveness. You don't. You would never let me back in your church if I came and I said you're all going to hell. But I'm a real Christian. I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to teach you what it's like to be a Christian. The man didn't say anything. So, it's very interesting how people become completely illusioned, thinking they know something when they know nothing. Absolutely zero. Nada. So we have to be very careful in spiritual life to follow the rules and regulations given to us by the acharyas. Now Jesus is an acharya. Muhammad is also an acharya in the sense. He was able to teach. They were both able to teach millions and millions of people. But the original acharya, the original guru, is Krishna himself. He's the father of all these religious teachers. And he's giving here pure knowledge. And he's saying that Nirasir yatachita atma tyakva sarva parigraha sariram kevalam karma kurva napnoti kilbasam. It's the next verse. 21. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by any sinful reactions. So this is the key to all freedom from karma. That karmic debt that we have, and we don't know what it is till it happens, right? It's a very dangerous thing to have a karmic debt. You won't find out what it is till it actually happens, right? And we don't know whether it's going to be good or bad. We only find out when it happens. So there's a real interest to be able to nullify that karmic debt. And there's only one way to do it. And Krishna is explaining it here. One must be nirasir, without desire for the result. Now, we're not saying go to your employer and say, sir, I just heard this lecture by this Harivilas, and he said, I should not be attached to the result. So you don't have to pay me at the end of the month from now on. I'm just going to depend on Krishna. No, that's not what it's saying here. You have to make a living. You have to put some food on the table, but you should work honestly. No cheating. No lying. Just like one person came to me and said, Prabhuji, I'm going to complain about my coworker. I said, why? He said, he's a nasty man. I think it's racist. I don't think he likes Indians. I said, he's American? He said, yes. Is your boss American? He said, yes. I said, don't do it. I said, why? I said, you should give an example of a genuine, humble, hard worker, and a well-wisher of others. He said, how can I be a well-wisher when I'm working with people who are all nasty? They're trying to put me down to get ahead themselves. I said, that may be true. That may be the culture in the corporate sector. But why do you have to stoop down to that low level? You take the high road and let them take the low road. He said, yes, but they're getting ahead. I'm staying behind. I said, don't you think so? I said, don't think that all Americans are stupid. If they were, this country would already have ended a long time ago. There are some very decent people in this country because they're genuine Christians or they're genuine followers of some religion. Religion is still an important part of this country. And the people that actually follow the religious principles, doesn't matter they're Christian or Jewish or whatever, they can see who is good and who is bad. That's their business. Don't you understand? You cannot be a CEO unless you can recognize honest people and you can recognize cheaters. And you suppress the cheaters and you bring forward the honest people so that you can work with them and get something done. You can't work with cheaters. They're always trying to undermine you. He said, I don't understand. So I thought corporate culture is, you step on someone to go up the ladder. I said, no. That's the life of the Asuras. But we're not teaching Asura culture in the temple. We're teaching Vaishnava culture. Vaishnava doesn't step on someone to go ahead. Vaishnava is always self-controlled. They know one thing, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one can cheat Krishna. Everyone that's tried to cheat Krishna has been defeated. But it takes a little time. That's why you have to be patient. He said, then what should I do? I said, be nice to that man. Bring him some gifts. Talk to him nicely. When he says something nasty, you just smile. And inside, you say, Haribol. He said, it's going to be very difficult, but I'll try. So a few months later, he came back to me and said, Prabhuji, he said, how did you know? How have you learned these things? I said, Prabhu, listen, every day we're reading Bhagavad Gita. This Bhagavad Gita is giving the highest knowledge attainable in this world in a very concise way. Just one little book, 700 verses. It has all the knowledge necessary to become liberated from the vicious cycle of birth and death. What's more vicious than the cycle of birth and death? And it's giving you the knowledge how to do it. He said, Prabhu, this is amazing. He said, I followed what you said. And out of nowhere, this man decided to retire. And he wrote a letter to my boss. And he praised me in this letter. And he said, if anyone deserves to be promoted, this man does. And he wrote about how I was a nice man, I was cooperative, I was always respectful, I was honest. And I got a raise and a promotion because of him. I say, you see, Prabhu, now this is a true story, right? I'm not making this up. This is a true story. And it happened rather quickly. Only 3-4 months it happened, right? And I didn't know it was going to happen. It's not like I'm Sai Baba or something, you know. I'm not Sai Baba or anybody like that. But we're simply following Bhagavad Gita. This is a winning formula. Nobody's a miracle man in this world. If you simply depend on Krishna's goodwill, Krishna's prasad, then you have no problems. Somehow or other, it's mysterious. Somehow or other, everything's going to work out. But it's mysterious. We don't exactly know how it's going to happen. But it's going to happen because Krishna says, Konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranasyati. Declare it loudly, Arjuna, that my devotee never perishes. In other words, Krishna is guaranteeing that his devotee will be protected by him. In fact, I want to find that verse, Konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranasyati. It's the 9th chapter. And Krishna explains previous to that, let's take a look at that. He says, Shripam bhavati dharmatma satsvat santim nigachati konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Before that he said, apichet sudaracharo bhajante mam ananyabhak sadur eva samantavya samyak vyavasito hi saha. He said, even if one commits the most abominable action, like killing a brahmana or killing a cow or something like that, if he or she is engaged in devotional service, he or she is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination to serve the Lord. Now, this does not mean that I can go ahead and kill someone and then chant Hare Krishna, it's all right. It doesn't mean that. It means that sometimes there are acts of passion where we go temporarily crazy due to our previous bad upbringing, and sometimes we make a mistake. But if we recognize that it's a mistake and take help from a genuine devotee and continue devotional service, we can be forgiven. Right? Just like one time I had a friend, and his wife had an illicit relationship with another man. And he came up to me and said, Prabhu, what should I do? I said, Prabhu, this is a very difficult situation. This is going to test whether you're really Krishna conscious or not. He said, what do you mean? I said, you should forgive her. He said, how can I forgive her, Prabhu? What are you saying? How can I forgive her? I said, you have to forgive her. He said, but it's not my culture. He said, I mean, we kill women that do this in my village. I said, I know, but you're not a villager. And you're not in your village. You're coming to this temple, you're trying to learn how to be a Vaishnava. You should forgive. He said, it's going to be very difficult. I said, I know. I mean, being born is difficult. Your head is squeezed like this. And you come out of the womb, you know, you're like amnesiac. Your head was squeezed so hard. And in the womb, you were being eaten by worms. And there was gastric juices, and there was stool right next to you. It's not a nice thing to be born. And then you're growing up, and so many things happen when you're growing up. And then you get to be a man or a woman, and you have to get married, and that's a very, very stressful thing. You don't know who that person is. One lady came to me and said, Prabhuji, when I got married, it was the happiest moment of my life. I thought I was marrying Ram. She said, then after 3 months, my God, I realized he was Ravana. So this happens. See, we make mistakes and we suffer. So I said, Prabhu, forgive your wife. So he did. It was very difficult for him to do it, but he did. And they're still together. It was good for their kids too. You know, sometimes people make mistakes. Not that they're really bad, but because of bad upbringing, because of circumstances, sometimes we make a mistake. So Krishna says that can be excused. If it's an accident, but not if it's a regular occurrence. This verse is, Apichet Sudaracha, is for accidents. It's not for regular, premeditated, sinful activities. So people can be forgiven. And then the next verse says, even if that he, the person who made this mistake, but is forgiven, and by being trained, taking the shelter of a bona fide Vaishnava and being trained properly, right? Then he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace, O son of Kunti. Declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So Arjuna is being told, look, Arjuna, I'm going to ask you to do some really nasty things. You're going to have to kill Bhisma Pitama. He's the grandsire of the whole dynasty, Kuru dynasty. You consider him like your own grandfather. You're going to have to kill him. You have to kill your own brother, Karna. You're going to have to kill your own guru, Duryodhana. But you're not doing it to grab land or grab their wives or grab money or anything. You're doing it because I'm telling you to do it. And I'm guaranteeing you that there will be no sinful reaction if you act only under my order. So it's a pretty difficult thing. Arjuna doesn't want to kill Dronacharya. It's his guru. He taught him everything he knows. He doesn't want to kill Bhisma Pitamaha. He worships Bhisma Pitamaha, right? He doesn't want to kill his own brother. He didn't know, but later on he finds out it's his own brother. He was devastated, right? But Krishna is ordering him to do it. And he said, okay, I will do it. I don't understand, but I will do it because you're telling me to do it. And he does it. And today we honor Arjuna as number one bhakta. Why? Not because he killed Bhisma Pitamaha or Dronacharya, because he followed strictly Krishna's order. Now this doesn't mean when Hitler tells you to kill people, you have to follow his order. There's a difference between Hitler and Krishna. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hitler is a demon. So you have to be like Marichi. When Ravana told him, you become the golden deer and you trick Sita and Ram. Take Ram away, Lakshmana away from Sita, I will kidnap Sita. And if you don't do it, I'll kill you. So Marichi was not a stupid person. Previously, in northern India, he saw Ram kill 16,000 Rakshasas, and he killed 2 brothers of Ravana, all by himself. And he shot Marichi with an arrow that flung him from northern India all the way back to Sri Lanka without killing him. So he knew Ram is not an ordinary person. He's divine. He must be God. No one else could have done something like that. By himself, he killed 16. It's like you by yourself killing 16,000 Chinese soldiers in Nepal or in Guwahati during the 1950s when they attacked. You by yourself, you're going to kill them all. Right? Now you can't do that, you know that. But if anyone could do that, my God, they would be Bhagavan in India. They would be saying Om Jaya Jagadesha Hare like that. Because who can kill 16,000 people by himself? And they're all Rakshasas. Right? So anyway, Marichi knew who Ram was. He tried to convince Ravana. Ravana said, don't you say another word, I'll kill you. So he was thinking to himself, look, if I don't do it, this demon is going to kill me. If I do it, Ram is going to kill me. Better to be killed by Ram. You see, he was smart. You get killed by Ram, you go back to Goloka. You get killed by Ravana, what happens to you? You go to hell. So better to be killed by Ram than by Ravana. He was a smart man. So he did it not because he wanted to cheat Sita, because he wanted to be killed by Ram. He knew it was better. So Arjuna was not interested in killing his guru or killing the grandsire of the Kuru dynasty. But he realized that the highest perfection of Dharma is to follow Krishna's instruction. That's the whole teaching of Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna doesn't listen to Krishna. He says, I'm not fighting. He throws his bow and arrow down. And then Krishna begins to explain to him the difference between the body and the soul. And then he explains to him the difference between the individual soul and Bhagavan. And then he explains to him the way to relate to Bhagavan, Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana, by learning who Bhagavan is, who Krishna is, and then relating to Krishna through devotion, through positive actions. Just like, let's say there's somebody, you just meet them, you don't know who they are. But after a little while, you realize this is a very nice person. So you invite them to your house. And what do? You make some nice food for them. You give them a place to stay. You say some nice words to them. You might give them a gift, right? So now your relationship is developing through seva. Say, you're serving that person and you're developing your relationship. And eventually it could develop into love, right? So therefore, you meet Krishna, you're introduced to him by someone who knows him, and then you learn about him, and then you learn to serve Krishna as we're doing here. And then there's reciprocation. He makes your co-worker leave the job and write a nice letter so you get a promotion. See? You say, my God, how did that happen? I couldn't imagine that such a thing would happen, right? But it did, because Krishna is reciprocating with you. But it's in a mysterious way. It's not the way you expected, right? And then you realize, my God, I should simply continue chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. I should continue coming and hear the pravachan. It's good for me to hear this, rather than listening to the news. This is Larry King, and today I'm going to talk to Seymour Hoffman. Hey, Seymour, how you doing? How's the needle in your arm, Seymour? Oh, it's really good crack. Yeah, really good, you know. What is this, nonsense or what? These people are supposed to be famous? They're all a bunch of asuras. They're nonsense. They're talking nonsense all the time. You see? So therefore, it's good to hear the pravachan. It's good to hear good things, uplifting things. Good for your kids. Good for you. Good for everybody. We need good people in this world. We don't need more asuras. We have too many asuras. That's why the world is in trouble. Who's going to teach the people to become good? See? Only by listening to Krishna's words. And then Krishna says, whoever does good, Arjuna, will never be overcome by evil. You're protected. So therefore, nirasir yatachitatma, without desire for profit, control the mind and intelligence by giving up the sense of proprietorship over possessions. Now someone would say, oh, Harivilas said I should give up the sense of proprietorship. So I'm going to tell my wife we're going to give our house away. We'll find some homeless person on the street, give it to them. Then we'll go to the Safeway and we'll get a few cardboard boxes and we'll get some tape and set it up under the I-90 bridge. And we'll live there. Harivilas said we should give up all possessions. No, that's not what it means. Giving up all possessions means that you're not the Thakur. Krishna is the Thakur. That's what it means. So therefore, you should use whatever you've been blessed with in the service of Krishna. So, now, if your stomach only eats 3 rotis, 4 rotis gives you a headache, 5 rotis, diarrhea, 6 rotis, you go to the doctor, right? So, therefore, eating only 2 rotis is wisdom, and the other 4 rotis you can give away. That's what it means. You take your minimum and you share the rest. See, just like here, people are giving us donations, right? Let's say in 1 year we make $1 million in donations. You know, sometimes it's 1 million, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Nobody's getting a salary here. Everyone is volunteering. Maybe 1 or 2 of the pujaris gets a little stipend. Few $100, that's it. And they have to fill out a 1090 form, right? Or we have to fill the 1090 form, they have to pay their taxes. Of course, they're making much less than the minimum poverty line, so they don't have any taxes to pay. So, nobody's making any money here, personally, but we're all dedicated, and whatever we have, we use in the service of Krishna, and we share the prasad with everybody, right? That's why temple is growing, because there are no greedy people. See? As soon as you have a greedy person, just like there's one pundit I know, they call him BMW pundit. He drives around in a BMW and a new one. How did he get a BMW? And he's got a gold watch and everything. What? And he's, you know. Real pundits are generally thin. They have, you know, some rubber flip-flops or something, or with these wooden shoes, you know, and they live a simple life. And, you know, they're not accumulating. They don't accumulate things. Whatever. In fact, previously, the kings would give charity to the Brahmins, and the Brahmins would give charity to everybody. And they themselves did not hold on to that money. They would be a conduit on, because they knew the people. They were with the people all the time. The king was always up in the palace with all the big guys, but the Brahmins were humble people. They were always with the people. They would give free education. They would teach. They would do pujas. They would give advice on health and things like that. So there was no Obamacare, which is nonsense. There was no Social Security. The Social Security was the Don. The Brahmins, the king would give to the Brahmins would give to the people, whoever needed it, right? And everybody was happy. They lived a simple life. That's why there's 1 billion Indians today. How did that happen? Right? Because the people lived a peaceful life. The Muslims were trying to kill them. They still didn't give up. They destroyed Somnath Temple 11 times. 11 times. Muhammad Ghazni and other invaders destroyed the Somnath Temple, stole everything in the temple, burned it down. 11 times Hindus rebuilt it, and it's still there today. See? So you cannot defeat a good person. You can only defeat corrupt people. But honest people, you can't defeat them. Just like the Mohammedans, they invaded Srirangam. They killed 1,000 Brahmins. After they were conquerors, one lady came up to the general and said, "Sir, this is a very big place. We have 160 acres of solid carved rock." He said, "I know. We've never seen anything like this. Our Mecca is nothing compared to this." "We know that, sir. But I think I should show you around." He said, "What do you mean?" "Well, you want to know where the gold is, where everything else is." "Yes. Where is it?" "So I'll show you. Let's go up on the Gopuram here. We'll take a look." So that's the big Gopuram, right? There's one really big Gopuram in Srirangam. There are many Gopurams. There's one real big one. So they went all the way up. There's some secret passages how to get up there. And they're up there, and he's looking all around. And she said, "Yes. See over there? You see over there?" And he said, "Yeah, I see." And she pushed him off and killed him. And the Muslims retreated after that, because their general was assassinated by a lady. She had more guts than everybody else, you see. And they left after that. And Srirangam is still there. Even if they tried to burn it down, they can't. It was solid carved rock, 160 acres of solid carved rock. How did they build Srirangam? I asked Mr. What is his name? Murali Buttar. I went to his house. He's one of the chief Brahmins in Srirangam. He's in the family of the Buttar family. They've been Brahmins for 1,000 years in Srirangam. And Murali Buttar, his great-great-great-great-grandfather, Venkata Buttar, he met Lord Chaitanya, and he hosted Lord Chaitanya in his house 500 years ago for 4 months during Chaturmasya. So Lord Chaitanya is right here on the right-hand side on the last altar. He is non-different than Krishna himself. And he came to spread Harinam Sankirtan. Golokera Premadana, Harinama Sankirtan. So he came 500 years ago and started the Sankirtan movement. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. So, because of that, Murali Buttar has built a temple for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu right across the street from his house. And that's the house in which Chaitanya stayed 4 months, 500 years ago. So I asked him, I said, Panditji, I said, how did you build this place? I mean, there are massive carved rock. Each rock must weigh, sometimes 50, 100 tons. How did you put it all together? He said, Prabhu, I've written a book about this. He said, my theory is, when Vibhishan stopped here, because Ranganath deity, which was given to him by Ram, because Vibhishan did not want to leave Ayodhya. He wanted to stay in Ayodhya with Ram. For Ram said, no, you must go back to Lanka and become the king. But for you to leave me is very difficult. Therefore, I'm giving you this deity myself. This is Ranganath. You worship this deity, it's like worshiping me. So he got the deity. Now, if you ever see the Ranganath deity, it's huge, right? Obviously, this is in the Tretya Yuga. right? The Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga. People were big then. I mean, you know how big Vibhishan was, or Ravana was, or the Rakshasas? They're not like the Harlem Globetrotters, 6'7". They were like 18, 20 feet big. 18 or 20 feet. You ever see a man that's 18 or 20 feet? Run the other way if you see him. See? So, when he was going back to Sri Lanka, Ranganath told him, I want to stop here. And that was on the banks of the Kaveri River, and on the coast, South India. And the Brahmins there, they begged him, please stay a little bit. We want to worship your Ranganath. He said, okay. But after a week, Ranganath told Vibhishan, he said, Prabhuji, I'm not going with you back to Lanka. I like it very much here. I don't know what's going to happen there, There was a bunch of Rakshasas there before. I mean, you're a good man, I know, but, you never know. He said, I'm going to stay here. They're taking good care of me. And he said, but I want to show you how much I like you, he said. Normally, deity must face the east, right? So instead of facing Bombay, I'm going to face Lanka, south. It's the only deity in India that's facing south in the traditional temples. He said, because I will always have my eyes on you and give you my blessing. So Ranganath stayed there. Vibhishan returned to Lanka. So in this way, we are acting only by the mercy of the Lord, and we're depending on the prasad of the Lord. You have nothing to worry about if you do that. That means your life is guaranteed. And these verses explain, and we'll stop with this, a Krishna conscious person does not expect good or bad results in his activities. His mind and intelligence are fully controlled. He knows that because he is part and parcel of the Supreme, the part played by him as a part and parcel of the whole is not his own activity, but is only being done through him by the Supreme. So, Krishna is acting through me only if I'm acting according to his instructions, not if I'm doing nonsense. I can't say, oh yeah, Krishna is acting through me, that's why I'm smoking ganja right now. Here, I already offered this to Shiva, Om Shivaya Namaha. Oh yeah, I'm really Krishna conscious because I'm smoking ganja, offered to Lord Shiva and blessed by Krishna. No, it's all nonsense. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. There's no such thing as medical marijuana, or marijuana is legal, or it's good for you. It's all nonsense. And you don't bless it by offering to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is not a dope head. And Mother Kali does not eat meat. I'm letting you know right now. Yeah, if someone offers meat to Mother Kali, she'll take it and offer it to the bhutas and pisachas that are around her. She has ghosts and goblins around her, and they eat the meat. They eat your offering, and you get their mercy, not Kali's mercy. And their mercy is not nice, believe me. Right? And Shiva is not accepting the offering of ganja or charas. He doesn't accept that, But he also has bhutas and pisachas around him. They might be interested in your charas, So let's not have some false concepts here. So then it says, when the hand moves, it does not move out of its own accord, but by the endeavor of the whole body. A Krishna conscious person is always dovetailed with the supreme desire, for he has no desire for personal sense gratification. He moves exactly like a part of a machine. As a machine part requires oiling and cleaning for maintenance, so a Krishna conscious person maintains himself by his work just to remain fit for action in transcendental loving service of the Lord. So you see, no one is saying give up your job, live in a cardboard box under the I-90 bridge. No one is saying that. What we're saying is follow Krishna's instructions how to live and minimize your material needs to maximize your ability to do good, to serve, to help others advance. We don't want to be like the Sikhs. Some American man went into a Sikh Gurudwara in Wisconsin or Michigan and killed people. Right? Why? Because they look like they're a closed community, just doing their little thing and not relating to the outside world. That's why we do so many outside programs. We have our My Sweet Lord restaurant, the only free vegetarian restaurant in Seattle for the last 12 years. Why? Because we want to show people that we're not a selfish, closed community. We're an outreach community. We outreach to people. We relate to people. We're trying to help all people. We're not just trying to help one group of people. We're trying to help everybody become Krishna conscious. That's what Krishna consciousness is. So, he is therefore immune to all the reactions of his endeavors. Like an animal, he has no proprietorship even over his own body. A cruel proprietor of an animal sometimes kills the animal in his possession, yet the animal does not protest. Nor does it have any real independence. A Krishna-conscious person fully engaged in self-realization has very little time to falsely possess any material object. For maintaining body and soul, he does not require unfair means of accumulating money. He does not therefore become contaminated by such material sins. He is free from all reactions to his actions. So this is real freedom. Kurvan napnoti kilbasam. He is never required or touched by sinful actions, because he offers everything to Krishna and then shares that with others and takes minimum for himself or herself. This is the hallmark, this is the foundation of the entire Vedic culture, is based on this instruction that Krishna is giving to Arjuna. So thank you very much. And we'll stop right there. Are there any questions anyone would like to ask? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Kiba Jayo, Jaya Gora Chande, Arati ke soba. Kiba Jayo. Vitata Vane Jagamana Loba Jana Vitata Vane Jagamana Loba Ibadaki Nidaya Chan Banmenga Dadara Ibadaki Nidaya Chan Banmenga Dadara Nikate Shini Vasa Chatradara Nikate Advaita Shini Vasa Chatradara Jaya Jaya Gora Chande Arati Ke Sobha Kiba Jaya Jaya Gora Chande Arati Ke Sobha Jana Vitata Smante Unga Gora Jana Vitata Bane Jagamana Loba Kiba Bashkini Kiba Boshina Chingora Chan Ratna Singha Sane Kiba Boshini Chan Ratna Singha Sane Aruti Kore Na Brahma Adi Devagane Aruti Kore Na Brahma Adi Devagane Kiba Jaya Jaya Gora Chande Arati Ke Sobha Jana Vitata Vane Jagamana Loba Jana Vitata Vane Jagamana Loba Ibanara Hari Adhikari Chamara Dulaya Kibanara Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Gosadigaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Gosadigaya Jaya Jaya Gora Chande Arati Ke Sobha Kiba Jaya Kiba Shankara Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Kiba Shankara Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Madhura Midanga Bhaje Madhura Madhura Midanga Bhaje Paramarasara Shanka Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Madhur Madhur Madhura Bhaje Shanka Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Madhur Madhur Madhura Bhaje Madhur Madhur Madhura Bhaje Madhur Madhur Madhura Bhaje Madhur Madhur Madhura Bhaje Madhur Madhur Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol Tagore Premanande ki jai Ki babahu koti chandra jini Vadana ujvala 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 Kala Desevana Mala Hare Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gorara Sampada Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gorara Sampada Jayo Jaya Gora Jande Aruti Ke Soma Kiba Jayo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama. Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Jai Gora Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Jai Gora Premanande Ki Jai. Om Aganyati Mirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chaksusun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jayom Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajika Charasthatara Satarishi Shishiman. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Shikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samkunda Radha Kundagiri Govardhan Ki Vrindavanadam Ki Mayapuridam Ki Jagannath Puridam Ki Tulasi Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Ganga Maya ki, Jamuna Maya ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki, Itai Gaur Premanande ki Jai. Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlada Dayini. Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlada Dayini. Hiranyakashipu Vakshahai Shilatanka Nagalaye. Hiranyakashipu Vakshahai Shilatanka Nagalaye. Ito Nishinga Parato Nishingo Yato Yato Yamita To Nishinga. Ito Nishinga Parato Nishingo Yato Yato Yamita To Nishinga. Bahi Nishinga Idaye Nishinga Narashina Madim Sharanam Prabhade. Bahi Nishinga Idaye Nishinga Narashina Madim Sharanam Prabhade. Avakara Kamala Bade Nakam Adhuda Singham. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringham. Keshavadita Narayani Rupa Jai Jaganesha Hare. Jai Jaganesha Hare. Jai Jaganesha Hare. Tanubringham Keshavadita Narayani Rupa Jai Jaganesha Hare. Jai Jaganesha Hare. Jai Jaganesha Hare. Keshavadita Narayani Rupa Jai Jaganesha Hare. Jai Jaganesha Hare. Jai Jaganesha Hare. Narashingadev Jaya Narashingadev Jaya Narashingadev Jaya Narashingadev. Haribo 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 Gora Haribo. Nitai Gaura Premanande ki Jai. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Well, thank you for coming tonight, braving the snow, the sleet, the rain, the darkness, the cold, to be in this nice, warm, friendly place where we chant Hare Krishna, see the beautiful faces of Radha and Krishna and all the transcendental personalities, and sing and dance. This is the yoga of singing and dancing. You can go back to Godhead simply by singing and dancing and eating prasad. So we want to thank tonight our sponsor, Ashish Premaraj. Ashish Premaraj. If Ashish is here, please come. We want to thank Ashish Premaraj and family for sponsoring the feast tonight. And on February 12th, so today's what? February what? 9th. So next Wednesday, we have the appearance day of Lord Nityananda, the personal associate personal associate of Lord Chaitanya. So on the left-hand side, the two deities are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the right and Nityananda on the left. So Nityananda is Lord Balaram and Chaitanya is Krishna. And they came 500 years ago to spread the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra as the Yuga Dharma, the way recommended in the Vedas for attaining perfection of love of God in this age. Therefore, we're practicing the Yuga Dharma here. That Yuga Dharma is Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. Chanting this holy name of Krishna and chanting the holy mantra of the names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So we're going to have this festival celebrating Lord Nityananda, who is actually Balaram, the original guru in the entire creation. And that's February 12th, Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. There'll be a big feast, a lot of chanting and dancing, and especially Krishna Katha. Tomorrow is also Varaha Dwadasi. So we're going to glorify Lord Varaha, the appearance of Krishna as a boar, and he saved the earth after it had been thrown into the ocean, the Garbhodak ocean, by the demon, the brother of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. So we're going to celebrate that festival tomorrow. Don't forget that Varaha gave the Tirupati hill to Balaji. He gave him a place to stay. And therefore, when you go up to the hill, you first must go to the temple of Varaha, of Lord Krishna, who appeared as the boar. Boar is like a gigantic pig. Because he could go down into the ocean and pick up the earth with its trunks. Why did the earth fall into the Garbhodak ocean, which fills half of the universe? Because the demons had exploited the earth, dug into the earth's crust, searching for metals and jewels and all these things, as they're doing today. But the demons previously were more powerful than the demons today. So they dug so deep that the balance of the earth was lost and it fell into the Garbhodak ocean. And Lord Varaha came to save Mother Earth, Bhumi Devi, from the demons. And Varaha killed Hiranyaksha, the brother of Hiranyakashipu. Later on, Nrsingadev killed Hiranyakashipu also. So then, what else?
Tomorrow is fasting till noon, and actually Ekadashi fasting is done tomorrow. Even though Ekadashi is today, it is not suitable for fasting. Tomorrow till noon we fast, and then the rest of the day we...
Today is Ekadashi, right?
Yeah, but actually the fasting is done tomorrow. Ekadashi fasting.
Yeah, today is Ekadashi, so we're fasting until noon tomorrow for Varaha. And everyone's invited. We have a festival tomorrow night also. Then on April 12th, from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock, we have our holy festival in downtown Redmond, in the downtown Redmond Park. This is the second annual holy festival. The city of Redmond likes us so much that they're giving us their downtown park right on Redmond Way, the main street of Redmond. Everyone will be able to see it. You're all invited to the very grand holy festival. Last year it was a lot of fun. This year it's going to be even more fun. April 12th, it's a Saturday from 12 to 4. And on February 27th, we have Mahashivaratri. Some people say, oh, you people don't like Shiva. That's not right. We love Shiva. And we're going to honor him in a grand way on February 27th. What day is that? What's February 27th? It's the night... It's a Thursday, yes. So we'll have a 4-day festival for Lord Shiva because we love him very much. There was one Baniya businessman. He had conducted some business in a far-off town. He was trying to return home, but he didn't calculate his time very well. And nighttime came in the jungle. And he was afraid because at nighttime all the animals, all the dacoits, the animals, they all come out looking for food. So he was food for them. And he had some wealth with him also that he had made. So he climbed up a tree. Little did he know that that was a bale tree. Was it a bale tree, right? Little did he know it was a bale tree. And he was there all night and he was crying, my wife, my kids, what's going to happen? My life is in danger. And he could hear the animals at night in the jungle, and he was like shaking. So to pass the night away, he couldn't sleep, of course. He didn't want to sleep because he might fall off the tree. So to pass the night away, he kept picking leaves from the tree and just throwing them on the ground. Little did he know that there was a Shiva Linga on the ground. And he was crying, my wife, my kids, and tears were falling down. His tears were falling on the Shiva Linga also. So he was bathing the Linga and offering bale leaves, which Lord Shiva likes very much. So next day when he woke up, nothing happened to him, right? He was like shocked. Wow, nobody ate me, no one robbed me. This was all because of Lord Shiva's mercy. So he was able to go home. And in this way we say Shivaratri, the evening of celebrating and worshiping Lord Shiva for his mercy. Now Lord Shiva, we don't worship him as Rudra Deva, because Rudra is angry. We worship him as Gopishwara Shiva. Little did people know that Lord Shiva became very attracted to Radha and Krishna and the gopis' Rasa Lila. And he wanted to go to Vrindavan and join into the Rasa Lila, but you can't go and join in the Rasa Lila unless you're a gopi. So he met some gopis outside of Vrindavan. He wasn't allowed in. And he asked their advice. And one of the gopis said, yes, you can come in, but only if you change your body into that of a gopi and you develop the mentality that we have, a pure love for Krishna. We don't have lust for Krishna. We only want to serve him. It's not like in the material world, a man has lust for a woman has lust for a man. The gopi said, it's not like that here. We don't lust for Krishna. We love him so much that we want to sacrifice everything for him. We don't approach him with lust to satisfy our lust. We approach to satisfy his desire only. So he said, wow, I got to get used to that. It's completely different than in the material world. He said, how do I do that? She said, well, we can train you if you're willing to be trained. He said, yeah, I'll do anything. So they trained him in pure love of Krishna. And he actually changed his body. His body was changed into a gopi. And he entered into Vrindavan as a gopi. But when he entered, all the other gopis said, who's this new gopi? So they all went around her and made a circle around her and said, who are you? Who's your mother? Who's your father? Where's your village? And Shiva didn't know it because, and they said, oh, this is an imposter. And they started slapping him, and slapped him like this. And she was so taken aback, she ran away and started crying and sat under a tree. And then one of the gopis that had instructed her came up and said, don't cry, please. They didn't know, you were not able to answer the questions, what's your village, what's your family? But don't cry. And then Krishna came and said, what is this? And the gopi said, this is your devotee Shiva. He said, oh. He said, so Lord Shiva, you want to be in the Rasa Lila dance? He said, yes. He said, but you cannot. You're a man, even though you have a gopi body. But, he said, I'm going to name you Gopishwara. You are the Ishwara of the gopis, the protector of the gopis. And you will stand on the outskirts of Vrindavan, and you won't let anyone in who's not a pure devotee. They have to come to you first, and you check them out. It's like this temple. Someone wants to stay in the temple, I have to check them out. You say, they're not allowed in the temple to stay unless they're checked out. You do a background check. So Lord Shiva said, okay. So today, up until today, Shiva is Gopishwara Shiva. He's the protector of the holy Dham of Vrindavan, where Krishna and the gopis engage in their transcendental activities. He has the body of a gopi. In fact, when you go to Vrindavan, you can first visit the temple of Gopishwara Shiva to get his permission to enter. And they dress the linga up as a gopi. It looks exactly like a gopi, although it's a Shiva linga. So that's what we're going to do on the 12th of February. And we will have a lot of transcendental katha of Lord Shiva and his relationship to Krishna. Because Lord Shiva, Vaishnavanam, Yata Sambhu, he is the best Vaishnava. Why? Because he does something nobody else wants to do. He is the guru of all the rejects. The people that smoke medical marijuana, the people that smoke ganja, that shoot up heroin and all that. He's willing to accept them as disciples, to train them up to become genuine Vaishnavas. It's a thankless task. It's not easy dealing with them. Imagine if you had to go down to Pioneer Square and accept all the bums as disciples. But that's what he does. He accepts ghosts, he accepts pisachas and bhutas and all kinds of living entities like that, and tries to help them to become genuine devotees. So therefore he's called the best Vaishnava because he's most merciful. So we're going to honor Lord Shiva as Gopishwara Shiva and as Vaishwananam Yata Sambhu, the greatest Vaishnava devotee of Krishna, Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, and we will continue tonight with more kirtan. So we're going to chant, this is our year of Maha Harinam Yagya. We're trying to chant 1 billion names of Krishna this year. So on the first day of January, we chanted 6,250,000 names of Krishna, and every day we're logging in. Guests can log in the number of rounds they chant. So we'll chant one round with everyone now. We have some beads. We can give the beads to anyone that doesn't have them. And we'll chant one round, and you can log it. You write your name and say, on February the 9th, I chanted 1,728 names of Krishna. If you chant one mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, that's 16 names of Krishna. There are 108 beads, 16 times 108, 1,728. So please chant with us now, one round. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. What is that? Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Any beads here? Hare Krishna. Any beads? Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.